starting off with a music question, but there's intense music throughout this film. It keeps you up, like the whole drumming, even because it's a thriller the whole time. So even when there's not any like severe action or intensity going on, the music is there to keep you.
Yeah, it's a good instrument, music, and it can convey a lot of emotion, and it can also convey narrative drive. And Dario Marinelli, who was the composer, I think he did a really good job, of keeping that level of tension and always sort of like driving the story forward.
So as this is your first time though, big time directing though. Did you go into it without any butterflies in your stomach, or I don't know, because it seems to be like, okay, as a first project, this is a pretty extreme movie.
Yeah, no, I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel some sort of nervousness, but. I'm lucky to enough, like my history is working in films, and so I've been on a lot of film sets, so I knew to a lot of the filmmaking process is about trusting people, so I knew to trust people, and that let me get on with the job.
Yeah, and talking about trusting people, but also trusting the actors. And in this case, though, I would think it'd be a little bit difficult to direct an emotionless person, a man in a mask. Do you have to attack that a different way than you would?
You do. I mean, you attack it, lighting helps you out. Obviously, the voice helps you out later, when you record it. And, it also helps to have a great actor like Hugo Weaving in there, someone who has a great physicality, someone who has a great voice. And then, I think we trusted each other a lot, He trusted me to tell him when I didn't think it was working, and then then he could fine-tune his performance.
Yeah. Now, can we talk about the destruction of Parliament? Was that something, because you never know in movies nowadays whether you're looking at a computer graphic, CGI, or you're looking at a model or so forth, but it just looks so realistic. I was wondering, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we made a decision early on to do models for it, because you can create it with CGI or digital effect, but there's always that element that it doesn't look particularly real. And we had some great model makers in London, and when I say a model, the model is 30 feet high, and it really adds to the authenticity of it, and then you have all the explosions, and then you augment it with some digital effect. But for the most part, it's all model work, very intricate model work too.
Now, in a case, as a director though, let's say something goes wrong, you just build another one, or you have maybe 2 or 3 on set, you can do that scene over and over again, but you had a scene in this movie that you couldn't do more than once, and I'm talking about the scene where Natalie's hair gets shaved. Yeah. Is that a little bit of pressure on you?
It is, it's a little bit of pressure, but and it's a little bit of pressure on her. But we talked about the scene before we did it. I put 3 cameras on it, so you're covered in that regard, and then you just get about doing it, and hopefully nothing jams, or the shears don't stop, or something like that.
I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd be like popping Pepto-Bismol or something constantly. So also, you had to deal with a large number of extras in here.
Yeah.
Is that always a difficult thing? Or was there more than I thought, or was there some little CGI work going on there too?
Yeah, there was a little CGI work going on, but we did have a lot of extras. When we shot in London, we were there from midnight to 4 a.m. and we had 500 extras every day, and then it just becomes about being prepared and being organised. And I had a great assistant director, Terry Needham, who really knew how to marshal and corral everyone.
Yeah. I also, we were talking about doing scenes whatever. There was another scene that, because the guy does a little bit of filming, a little playing around, little short little films and so forth. The domino scene also gave my stomach knots, because I can't even imagine the amount of work that goes into that, or the screw ups that could possibly go wrong.
Yeah, there's 3 days of work that goes into setting those dominoes up, and then you put cameras on it. We did it with 5 cameras each time we did it, but we had the world champion domino man to do it, so it made it a little easier, I guess.
And what about the modern day references, like the bird flu references? Did those come into the script later, or on to bring it?
No, they were in the shooting script, which I guess the last one we did was November 2004. And I think you can look into the paper, and I don't think you have to be Nostradamus to see where things are heading. So we just touched on some of those issues that were around, which would make it more like politics is now, I guess. Make it a little more insidious, I guess, if you like. And then those other things, articles of allegiance, bird flu, any of those things, we're just projecting out there. We just have a look and see what's around us.
Well, you hit one out of the ballpark first time out.
All right.